Hi, welcome to the STEAM Exchange. My name is Rachel, and today we're going to be exploring your water kit. So you get to decorate a water bottle, you'll get to do watercolor painting, and more. So much to look forward to. Alright, so let's see what you have inside of your water kit. When we open it up, first you will find your guide to your water kit. And inside it says the activities included are chromatography paper, watercolor paints and watercolor paper, water bottle and waterproof stickers, and grow spheres and color tablets. So inside we have our water bottle, and then you'll find your packet of stickers that go with it. This cup goes with your chromatography paper, and I'll explain that soon. You've got your grow spheres and your color tablets, which go with this bowl. And our watercolors and our watercolor paper is at the bottom. So, let's put all of this back in, and we'll start with our chromatography paper. Alright, so for your chromatography paper, you're going to fill up that little cup with some water. Mine's filled up about 3/4 of the way. And I'm going to show you some examples of the chromatography papers that I've done that are finished. So the cool thing about chromatography paper, you draw on it with markers, and then the water is sucked up through a paper towel and gets onto the chromatography paper, and it spreads out the color. It looks really cool, and it also breaks the color out into the color components it's made of. So here's some examples and how you do it. Inside of your chromatography paper bag, you'll have a bunch of little discs, and this is the actual chromatography paper. And then there's also a paper towel that goes with each disc. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to take like a pencil or something strong, and you're going to poke a hole in the center of the disc. Okay. And then what you're going to do is you're going to take markers. I'm going to use washable markers, and I'm going to draw some sort of design around the center of this hole. So I would say the first one you might want to experiment. Try doing some dots. Maybe you can do some lines. Maybe you can do some concentric circles. And use a couple different colors so that you can see what happens. The cool thing about black is even though you think it's all just made out of a black color, when the water hits it and it spreads out, you can actually see all the different colors that black is made out of, which is a lot of different colors. So that's pretty cool. One thing that's cool, if you have a Sharpie handy, you can write something with a Sharpie. So in this one, I did hearts, and you'll notice that the Sharpie does not spread like the water or the rest of the markers do. So maybe if I want something to be permanent, I'll draw that with the Sharpie. Okay, maybe I'll add one more color here. Alright, so now I'm going to take my paper towel, and I'm going to kind of twist the end up a little bit, enough that I can stick it through the chromatography paper. So I'm going to have it sticking out like this, and I'm going to stick that into my cup of water. And the water is going to be whipped up through the paper towel through capillary action, and it's going to hit the paper towel and get that wet, and then the water is going to spread. You can actually start to see it. It's going to spread out on my chromatography paper. Now as it spreads, I can just leave this be for around 10 minutes and kind of see what happens. But I probably want to check on it from time to time, because you can actually also add some more color as the color spreads. So for now, we're going to move this to the side, and we'll check on that in a little bit. So now you also have a water bottle, and water bottles, reusable water bottles are really, really important because water bottles are made from plastic, and plastic is made from oil, which is not a renewable resource. And we don't want to, we might run out, and we need to make sure we're reusing it and that we protect our environment as much as we can. If we use disposable plastic bottles, that's when they end up in the ocean and they end up hurting animals. So I have these really cool stickers, and everybody has different stickers. If you have somebody near you that you can trade stickers with, feel free. but I think these are really cool. So I'm going to just attach them to my water bottle wherever I want. The only thing I'd recommend is that you don't attach them on the finger spots because they won't stick very well. So I'm going to carefully peel back the backing of the sticker. And these water bottles come from Louisville Pure Tap. Louisville's water is really good quality. So I'm going to put my little guitar playing bear right here, and I just want to make sure I'm rubbing that enough that it's really going to stick. The other thing I would recommend with your water bottle is having an adult, or you can write your name somewhere on it with a Sharpie. And you want to use a Sharpie so that it stays, because you don't want to get your water bottle confused with somebody else. So you will hopefully have a lot of fun decorating your really cool water bottle with these really cool stickers. And one of my favorite things that I'm super excited about, and I think you guys will have a lot of fun with these, are the grow spheres and color tablets. So you have 1.5 teaspoons of grow spheres and you have 3 color tablets. Let me show you my example. These are my grow spheres that I made, and believe it or not, they will actually get bigger than this if I gave them a little bit more space and added more water. They're really cool and they're super fun to play with. And the wild thing is they grow over like 300 times their size. So you can see the tiny ones in here, they grow to be bigger than this. So you actually don't want to use your whole bag at once. You'll want to use, you have 3 color tablets, so you could do it in thirds, or you could use maybe 1 teaspoon to fill your bowl. So you're just going to pour your grow spheres into your bowl and add water, and then put the lid on and wait, and maybe make it an experiment and see how long it takes them to grow. You'll be surprised, especially if you leave them overnight, how big they get. And I think everybody has the same color tablets in their packet, but you can also trade those with somebody else to get new colors. Now it's time for watercoloring. So everybody has a watercolor set. And I'm going to actually use one that I have over here that's already open. And a bunch of watercolor paper. Everybody should have around 8 sheets of watercolor paper. And it's watercolor paper because it's way thicker than most paper, which is really cool because it needs to be durable so it can withstand the water. So you want to fill up a cup with water. And I like to have a paper towel handy as well, so that I can dry off my brush if I need to. And each case comes with a paintbrush. So to start, there's lots of different techniques for watercolor. I'm going to show you a couple right now. So to start, you can rinse your brush in water, and say I want to use the purple. I'm going to go ahead and put the wet brush into the purple and kind of mix it around to get a bunch of paint on my brush, and then I can start painting. So this is just kind of regular watercolor painting. And if I run low, I can kind of dip back in water and dip back in the paint. And if I want to change colors, I want to rinse it thoroughly. Make sure all of the color is off before I switch. Otherwise, you can get kind of messy. You don't want to necessarily mix your colors in the tray. You want to probably mix them on your paper so that you can keep your colors in your tray pretty pure. Okay, so this technique is just regular watercolor painting. There's also a really cool technique called wet on wet, and what that is you're going to just paint water actually straight onto your paper. So I'm just going to take my brush and I'm going to add water to the paper. Can't really see it. And then I'm going to paint on top of it. So this is a cool way to do skies. Maybe I'm going to make a sunset, so I'm going to go ahead and add some red. And then maybe I'll add some orange, and the color kind of like blends together in a really cool way. So this is a really good way to make like sunsets, or maybe like an ocean would be cool. So that's a wet on wet technique. It's a little bit more of a blend. Now, another fancy thing you can try is a crayon resist. So actually, here's an example of that. My good friend Logan, who is 5, made this one, and I think it's super cool. Logan started by drawing with the crayon and then adding watercolor on top of it. And the crayon resists the watercolor, so the crayon shows through the watercolor. So I think this is a really good example of that. And here's another example that I did. This is the wet on wet, this is regular watercolor, and this is the crayon resist. So for the crayon resist, you just start by drawing anything. It doesn't even have to be representational. It could be some shapes. Maybe I'll just start with a spiral. And then you can see if I paint on top of it, the crayon will just kind of magically repel. Well, it's not magic, but it kind of looks like magic. It'll repel the watercolor paint, and your crayon will shine through really brightly. So those are some techniques for watercolor painting. There's more activities you can do with each of these listed in your water kit guide. So definitely read that, and you can explore even more things about your water kit. Let's check back in on our chromatography paper. So here's what we've got so far. So at this point, if I wanted to, I could go ahead and add some more color in this space in between. And that is also going to start to spread. And it still hasn't hit some of my outer designs, so it'll still keep looking interesting and different. And as those spread out, I can even add more. So chromatography paper is something that's really fun to play around with. There's no real right way to do it. Just have fun with it. Thanks everybody for hanging out with me and learning about your water kit. I hope you guys have a lot of fun making all the activities that it has inside.